can, man. You can go over why you think who is it? TDK, man. Why you think he wins? Let me know.
Yeah, I just think he always wins.
What does that mean?
All right, so basically he has a story. Well, he activates a story. He has the use of a story, and one of the necessary properties of that story is to always win. And it's on a level to where someone who can, well, this like fourth awareness character says that this character will always win.
Wait,
And
so
it's
this
in
is an ability that
regards.
requires some sort of activation, presumably off the description you gave?
Yeah, so basically the way TDK would have it worked, it's like something he just starts off with. The way it normally activates is that it's when Batman lets go of all of his restraints, and that's like something TDK already starts off with.
Can you like show me like some sort of description for what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll send all the scans. I'll send all the scans. You
Hell
get
yeah, man.
Crossverse when I send it. Oh, let me collect them.
Yeah, why is the deed already dick eating, bro? Like I'm about to single-handedly sob tax you. Don't worry.
All right, wait. Holy fuck.
Like, dude.
Oh my god, yo, my bad, bro. There's like 1,000 scans, bro. Hold on. Not that I'm gonna send, but that I have to look through to find them.
Yeah, no, you're good. Take your time.
Bro, go to our DMs. You sent it there, bro.
Wait, did I?
Yeah, for the 8th.
No, there's other scans I was gatekeeping from you, bro.
Oh, you're such a bitch, bro. Like,
no, my bad. Hold on.
bro, when you send no scans or what?
Wait, I don't really remember. Is it the one he's talking to Jim Gordon or James Gordon?
Yeah, it's just going over like, it's like if he laughs, he just wins no matter what.
If he laughs, he just wins, bro.
Yeah, so like the way they explain what they mean by laughing, Batman Who Laughs says that it's when you laugh away all of your strength to become the Batman who laughs. He's like this apex predator that always wins. So I'm just gonna collect the scans. It'll be clear when I send it.
These are all cropped, bro. You sent the
Wait,
worst.
what do you want me to send the scans? Where do we send scans to? Oh, just scans.
Yeah, scans.
Yeah, you can send them wherever as long as I see them. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no, I don't want chat to kill it. Hold on, I'll send them one by one. So the first one says, Batman always wins. This is an irrevocable truth. And then this is like the Mr. Mixie one I was talking about. This like fourth awareness character was saying that the character of Batman, people always come back to the stories because he always wins. And then here's Batman Who Laughs talking about it and basically explaining in order to become this Batman who laughs, you have to laugh at all your strengths. Yo, why is all of my shit getting scolded, bro? Yo, who's the
Wait, is this all in scans?
Yeah, all in scans.
Okay, let me. Batman always wins. The irrevocable truth that resonates very hard of some nonsense.
Yeah, and it's like basically this statement was used in relation to TDK because he has like an
we'll just
activation
talk
of
about
his
that way when it said that it's an irrevocable truth. Like,
Yeah.
What do you think that's meant to mean there?
It just can't be changed. Like that's why I said it's a necessary attribute. Like the same way that like you would prescribe an identity to a character or like an essence of a character is the same way I think that this character always winning. That's like a trait of them that you just can't change.
Why would we not take this irrevocability to be just indexed to the story? Like, sure, in these stories he can't lose. Why would we take a
I'm just saying. Okay, yeah. So we can just use all the contextualization through the other scans I sent for it to be explained not just in that specific story, but to be a general truth that holds to this character.
Well, general truths of stories regarding this character, like presently existent stories in this verse regarding this character.
No, so the statement was used in reference, like Mr. Mixie, who's using the statement in reference to the writing of this character. Also, I think the literal term irrevocable means it can't be changed. So I don't think that's relative to what's being applied in the verse.
Terms like that are almost always relative, though, or context dependent.
How that's like oxymoronic.
You think that's oxymoronic?
Yeah. So how is like something that can't be changed relative to something like that?
Yeah,
That would
it
just
can't be
in
changed in the
definition would be changed.
context of what is presently able to affect it.
Yeah, but if it's only can't be changed in that context, then that means that as a general statement, it would mean that it can be changed, which is like. By the way, hold on, wait. So I think statements, when a statement is used, we use what's like closest to the words being used in order to like infer what that thing means. So when a general statement is being used, I don't think it's in relation to like a specific thing. I think we can use the fact that it's just used generally, like the word used generally. There's no specification applied to that for us to know that we can infer that it's a
Almost all
general
language
statement.
has some level of specification, right? Like basically any term that we're going to use is going to be indexed to some context. I don't know why we just take
No,
it
no,
out
no,
of its literal meaning as opposed to in some
no,
relevant context.
I don't think that all statements are like have to be relative to like some sort of specifics.
Can you give
I
me
think
like just any example of a use of language that you think is not relative?
yeah, like being maximally great, like that would just be something that's like in all possible worlds. It's not really, like really relative to a specific scenario.
I have no idea what you're like. What did you say?
Maximally great, like that's being like the highest of all possible worlds. It's like so something that's relative to a specific possible world. It's gonna be like it's a necessary truth.
Wait, where are you pulling this terminology from? Do you think it's like defined as such, like in like some dictionary, or
Like what the thing I just said, maximally great. Like that's just how that's
yeah,
like
that would just be to the
normally
greatest extent. But again, a greatest extent is also going to be relative. I don't.
Yeah, no,
So
in
we're
all
going with
possible
this.
worlds, meaning it won't be relative to
Where are you getting this all
specific
possible
world.
worlds part?
Do you know what like the modal term like necessary is? So like we can define truth. So it's like we possibly true. Like that's what you're trying to apply to is like something that's possibly true, right? So in like specific possible world. But when someone uses the term necessary, that means it's in all possible worlds. I can send you like the terminology for that.
Were we not just talking about maximally great, right?
Yeah, so that's something that would be in all possible worlds. That's how it's normally used.
Defined. How is it used? Where is it used that way? What the fuck? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'll find it for you, bro. I mean, even if you want to say that people don't normally use it, I can just say my use of that means that, because what was in question is if a term can be used in that way. So as long as I'm using it that way, it's an example.
Well, if you grant that it's less common, then I don't know if it maps onto the statement that you're talking
about.
No.
So that's not stated for TDK. You just told me to give an example of something that can be non-specified to a specific scenario. I give an example of that happening. That's all that was in question there.
Well,
so what I'm trying to use to argue...
Is this just like how the language is actually used, though, or is this like some hypothetical in which you would try to use the language in that way? That's where I'm sort of seeing a disconnect.
Well, that kind of changes from if it's possible for... Because you said in all scenarios, something's relative to a specific scenario, right? Or a statement is relative to specific... yes.
Yeah, well, when I say all, it's just going to be like the most common like usage of basically any given language is... Like, obviously, it's not going to be like literally every use of language in its entirety, because I think people can say complete gibberish. But
yeah, okay, so we do agree.
Okay,
because I think that was a little bit of a hedge. So we do agree that statements can be used as generally and not specific to a specific scenario.
Statements can be used that way, sure.
Yeah.
There's no like impossibility there. I don't.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, so what? Okay, so what I'm gonna use now to infer that this statement is a general statement and not particular to the what like his verse is in, is the fact that we use like the terminology in order to we use our inferences to adhere to what the words being used in that statement, right? So if someone says something is at least 500 years old, I'll explain it. I'm going to give an example. So when someone says something is at least 500 years old, we don't then, it could be 5,000 years old. We then say something around 500. So when someone makes a statement with no specifications given, we genuinely believe it's a general term.
Do you not see the issue in that analogy? Like, you grant that there's some level of ambiguity, you're just narrowing down the level of ambiguity. I don't think that even maps onto what we're talking about.
Well, so in terms of ambiguity, I don't think...
Also, around 500 is, again, also pretty ambiguous. No. Around in of itself is ambiguous. Yeah, no, so all that was meant to explain was that when we use a term, we adhere to the closest of that term's use. So when someone makes a statement with no specifications, we would adhere to the likeliness, like the likeliness would be drawn to saying that it's a general statement because there's no specifications given. Every time we try to give a specification to a general statement,
that's going further away from what the statement was originally used through the words.
Yeah, the specification is derived from commonality, like how we would typically use these sorts of terms, and the way in which we use these sorts of terms is relative. I don't know if there's really anything else to go over.
Yeah, I'm saying the commonality would come from what your words are used. So if someone says, it's an irrevocable truth, for this scenario, that's the specification. But if someone says this is an irrevocable truth, then this would be a general statement.
Yeah, I'm saying the last part is implied via the commonality of how the word is used.
So what's the commonality between irrevocable? What's the commonality in the use of the word irrevocable?
What do you mean what's the commonality? The use of the word irrevocable is almost always a relative thing. You yourself granted that it's less common for things to be used that way.
Wait.
Yeah, do you want we could look at basically.
I'm actually, my argument is like literally the opposite of that. I'm saying generally when someone makes a statement with no specifications, we use a general use of that statement. So I didn't.
What is a general use of that statement, by the way?
That is just applied in at least
close in meaning to the definition. Yeah, this isn't a derivative of the definition, though.
I got you.
The definition is true in some applicable context.
Yeah, no. So all I'm saying when I say general is that it's used in most cases.
You can get it's used in most cases to mean this thing.
What thing?
If that was the claim,
that's no. I'm saying this thing is being used in this statement will be used in most cases. Will be applicable to most scenarios. That's why I said it's irrevocable.
Wait.
So when someone says
irrevocable means it's like applicable to most scenarios and not all.
No.
So, what you just said 2 seconds ago.
No. Okay. Yeah, I'll clarify. So when I say my argument isn't that the word itself means this. I'm saying the structuring of the sentence means this because there's no specification being given. Okay, yeah. So I explained that when someone makes a statement, unless the specification's given, it's likely general.
The analogy you gave me is ambiguous in nature. I don't know how the analogy tracks onto this. Do you?
Yeah, no. So what the analogy is meant to show. Yeah, so what the analogy is meant to show is that the inference we come from that statement would be closer to what that statement is being used without specifications. So we would believe it's around 500. The ambiguity is in the sense that we can't get an exact measurement of how many years.
Well, I don't even know what around closer to 500 means. Your idea of around 500 could mean something entirely different.
That's fine.
Idea of around.
Yeah, I think generally when someone says at least 500, it'll be around max 600.
The initial analogy was over 500. Do you think it would be max 600? Do you not see why that's just a very sort of?
No. Measure? Yeah. So someone said, wait. When someone says I said the analogy was when someone says at least 500.
You said over 500, but.
Sorry, maybe I said it now, but when I originally said, I remember it was at least 500.
Definitely not, but you did correct it now. When you say at least 500, you're saying what do we assume? Somewhere under 600. Yeah. Do you not see why that's arbitrary?
Why is it arbitrary? I think that's intuitive what people would mean when they say at least 500.
Well, it depends on what the broader scope of if we're talking about age, right? It depends on what the broader scope of ages we've seen are. If we look at human lifespans or whatever, comparatively 500 is already a lot. So over 500, you assume 501 is fine. If there's a scope of ages that ranges up to 1 million, when you say over 500, I think it gets much more ambiguous.
Yeah, so all you're doing is using more contextualization to infer what that thing would be in reference to. So without specification, then it'll be in that general use.
No, context isn't specification.
Yeah. No. Use a context to infer what specifications would be used.
Yeah, that's how we interpret language.
So I don't think it's applied to this.
Any sort of specification, it would just be to say that this now becomes arbitrary or vague because we have no idea what the broader range is.
Well, you just agreed that if it's in reference to a specific a particular human, then we could then use the fact that humans normally don't live that long to infer that it would at least be it would be closer to 501 than something beyond that, right? But again, I could probably have an argument
than 1 million, yes, because it's just trivially less likely that somebody would reach 1 million than they would 501.
Well, hold on. If we're using the context that it's a human, I think the fact that they're living for 500 years in the first place puts us in this situation where we aren't using normal or normative ways of humans lifespans.
What is that supposed to do as a response? The point being, it's just trivially less likely for a human to live to 1 million than it is for them to live to 501, which is why it is some lower number. But if we don't have that sort of likelihood pre-established, then there's no connection, right?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so What I'm saying is, if you're using the fact that it's closer for them to be able to live for 500 years, that would be in regard to the
It's not
fact that
because
they.
it's closer. It's
Hold on,
because
hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me explain. Hold on. So that would be in reference to the fact that they only live for around like an average of 70 years, right? But if someone is living for 500 years, we can't then use the previous knowledge of how long a human can live for to then prescribe that to it being closer to 501 than a million. That's like a contradiction. Like it's a contradiction of how long they could live. Like you okay, so
wait,
you're using the fact.
Contradiction? What do you mean contradiction?
Yeah,
Getting
so it's
some
a contradiction.
exception to a data set is a contradiction? What the fuck?
No. Wait,
Yes,
yeah,
your argument
wait.
is
So
that they
wait, hold
typically live
on.
to some given age, and now it's a contradiction
Yeah.
that they would live further. That's not what contradiction means. But
No. So yeah. So if someone is normally around 70 years, and we see every single time we've seen that, so it's like a very, very high likelihood of an induction that they live for 70 years. Not only do we have that induction, but we now have like how their biology works. We could have this very, very strong inference that that's how long these people typically live. But then when you have this insane outlier that they live for 500 years, I don't think then we could use any of that biological inference that we had previously or the induction we have for other humans because of how much of an outlier this person would be.
no, we would still be able to make some sort of inference. It's just how data sets work. If they're part of the same data set, the outlier is trivially, again, I'll say this again, trivially more likely to be closer to the average than it is further from the average.
Yeah, why do you think that?
It's like base level induction.
Yeah, of what?
What?
Yeah, of what? Like base level induction of what?
It's based off of the pre-existing averages of these lifespans.
Okay, and if I'm explaining that you can't use those pre-existing averages because this is something that
Actually,
doesn't follow any one of these previous
outlier.
Yeah, because no. This no. I explained this. So I said that the outlier is come from something that contradicts what we previously know of those things, right? So if we were to say that
a contradiction, again, it would just be some extreme. But
sorry, yeah. What do you mean by contradiction? What do you think I mean when I say contradiction?
I think you mean the exact definition of contradiction, right? Like P and not P. Do you understand? Yes or
no? When I say contradiction, I mean, well, in this sense at least, is that what we typically know of a human is being shown to not be true, right? Because we understand that
yeah, there's no distinction.
No. I'm saying
using contradiction and how I'm using extreme in a data set. You're not saying anything different.
Hold on. I'm saying that this extreme is so high that we can't use anything previous of it because of what we know previous of it. It would mean that we can't live for 500 years.
So, are you trying to posit that there'd be some like other distinction? That would just be separate from the analogy, right? The analogy would presuppose that this person is still a human.
Yeah, no, that would just then mean we could look at other things to explain why they're 500 years old. That would then not make them limited to, well, not limited, but for us to say that it's likely that it's 501 compared to 1 million. Like, I don't think that's the reason why we would infer that. Yeah, so it would just be like some unknown value because that would be more likely than saying that the previous qualities of a human would somehow allow them to live for 500 years if we know of a human and the induction of how many of what they typically live for.
So what was that meant to mean? Do you like have like an explanation as to why we take it to be more likely to be closer to 501 that is distinct from my explanation, or no? Because if you can't explain what we're talking about, then
so that example was just to show that we used what's closer to the words being like we adhere to what the words are being used to infer our understanding of those words, right? So if someone says at least 500,
reasoning as to why we do that in the context of what you gave me.
Yeah, and was that the previous like human lifespan, so it'd be close to 501 than a million? Was that your argument? Okay, well, I don't think you addressed that, so we could just leave that then. We could just continue on for that. But just for clarity, before we continue on, I don't think that if you were to say if you gave an alternate interpretation to what I said, and like let's say I posit that Batman always wins, you say, well, it could be this. Unless you give some, like you draw some sort of likelihood, I think we agree that that wouldn't mean you win the point or disregard my point. It would just leave it ambiguous.
No, I think if you haven't presented any sort of real meaningful likelihood increaser for your argument, it doesn't go through. That's how I think that would work.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
This possibility is indistinct from any other possibility if you have an increased likelihood of it at all.
Yeah, so we wouldn't know if it's true or false.
We'd have no reason in favor of it being true.
yeah, that's fine, but we had no reason in favor of it being false.
Yeah, intuitively, we don't actually just grant things that we have no reasons in favor
Wait,
of.
what do you mean
being true.
intuitively? I intuitively disagree with that.
You intuitively disagree with that? I mean, that's very, very powerful stuff. But typically, we
I
don't
mean,
grant
you wait, hold on. I said that
disagree
because I said that in response because you said we intuitively agree with it. So I said I intuitively disagree with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
saw
Someone like left as soon as you said that.
yeah, typically we wouldn't grant things like unicorns existing because we have no evidence in favor of it, right?
Wait,
most
no,
people
no, no.
wouldn't grant the unicorns exist. Yes or no?
Wait, no. That's distinct from what I'm saying. So in this case of saying that unicorns exist, we wouldn't say that they don't exist. There'll be an argument for ignorance because we don't.
Yeah,
we haven't had
we
any
wouldn't
knowledge
grant
of
that
it.
they do exist, is what I'm saying. So we wouldn't grant
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say. So I'm saying we wouldn't grant that it's false. Oh no, sorry. We wouldn't grant that it's true, like you're saying, but we also wouldn't grant that it's false. It would be in an ambiguous state. We wouldn't know if it's true or false.
Yeah, and distinct from any other possibility. So with a relevant value of absolutely fucking nothing, that's fine. Sure.
Sorry, yeah. So just be ambiguous. That point would be inconclusive. We agree with that, right?
If that's what you gathered, then we can move on. That was definitely something.
You said indistinct from every other possibility, so negating possibility. So we wouldn't know if those other possibilities are true because we wouldn't even be able to we wouldn't be able to draw a likelihood of it being 50-50 because we don't even know the amount of it being we wouldn't know the likelihood to draw from both even be 50 in that scenario. Hold on. This is the point. We wouldn't even hold on. We wouldn't even know if it's 50-50. It's just that we wouldn't even know the amount of it being possible. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, we'd have more reasons in favor of the negation if you lost, like very obviously.
Wait. So why would it be in? What reasons?
Why would we have more? The reasons I gave when we were going over the point. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on, or?
Okay, wait. So are you saying that in respect to what we just argued, or are you saying that in what I just tried to argue in terms of like clarity? Because I said that in terms of clarity. If I give an argument and you just give an alternate interpretation, you wouldn't win. It would just be inconclusive for that stance.
If I give an alternate interpretation that has greater credence, we would accept the negation.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I'm asking if the alternate interpretation was given a credence.
If you think they were argued equally, then sure.
Okay. So okay, hold on. That was just a form of clarity. It wasn't like relative to what we're arguing right now. So you do agree that if you were giving an alternate interpretation and there was no credence given to either interpretation, that it would be inconclusive, correct?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's get back
to the sense in which I think it's.
Yeah. No. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just draw back into the original point, right? So, we already argued on what I think the reason why we get sentences. You argued your reason. I want to use like another form of like justification for that. So, I think the fact that Mr. Mixie is saying that he always wins and how he's being written would mean that it's on a level of how this character is being written, right? So like when we write, yeah. So when we write your character and my character,
what scan are you talking about? Just so I like have some idea of what you're referencing.
In scans, right?
I know, but which one? Because you sent a few. That's why I asked.
Oh fuck, yo! Someone sent like 400 scans. What the fuck's going on? Hold on, my bad. Do you know, Mr.
Well,
Mixie,
I see where your scans are. I'm asking you which out of these scans.
Yeah, I just pinged it. That's what I asked. Do you know what Mr. Mixie looks like?
Oh no, is that the little orange and purple guy?
Yeah. His ass. Yeah, he's like fourth wall away.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's just like a character that's portrayed to be aware of the fact that they're in a comic book, or at least in a fiction.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so this character basically says that, like, the same way that we attribute things to the characters, like Batman being 6'2" or him being Batman, is the same way that I'm gonna infer that one of the values that is written to the character of Batman is him always winning, which is how Mr. Mixie explains it.
Yeah, it's applicable in some DC narrative, sure. Just follow under what we talked about earlier. I don't know why this would map onto literally anything else.
Yeah, no. So what the DC narrative is going to be to what that author writes, which can be whatever the fuck they want.
Was that meant to be like a response of some sort?
Oh yeah, I think that was a pretty good response.
So this is true of existent stories in the verse, and maybe some future story in the verse. Sure.
Okay, sure. I think that was enough for my scaling. Yeah, what scaling do you want to go for your character?
Man, Reinhard just has every ability, man. Even ones that don't
Yeah.
exist. He's
Can
tough.
you prove that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Let me send you the Q&A.
So Hermes, what'd you do?
What?
Like,
Yo,
what was your
Dad,
scaling,
shut the
bro?
fuck up, nigga, bro. Oh, that sounds
It's
fishy.
that.
Eat my
Well,
fucking dick, bitch.
Nigga, shut the fuck up, dumbass nigga. Like, what the hell? Like,
You're a nerd ass.
anyways.
Yo, chill. The scaling I was attempting to get is that like it's just a necessary attribute of TDK to always win. That's just basically it.
Like, track retard. Like, damn. Like, Hermes, why are all your friends so retarded, bro?
Yo, you gotta
Dude,
stop, bro.
where is this link?
Wait, Gizbob, bro. Like, want me to send the scan, man?
You have no idea where this game is. You've never read a Q&A in your life.
Why did I get this? I literally have all the ReZero scans from Shinra.
Oh, then you might actually have it. I have no idea what he has.
Nah, fuck
Dude,
you,
it's
kid.
not even like an actual like scan. It's just like a Reddit translation of the Q&A, man. Big translations.
Yo, Puyo, are you like behind in time or something, bro? Like, that scan already got sent.
I just got to see which Q&A it's in. I think it's in this one.
Oh, he's sending gay niggas? Oh, yeah, let me time him out. Let me time nigga out. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Fuck out the VC, kid.
Okay, let me find this server. Here you go, man. I'll send it in scans. It's a Reddit link for you to read through. I can screenshot the like relevant stuff if you want. It's kind of a long Q&A.
Holy fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, please screenshot this. What the fuck?
Yeah. Let me
Yo,
find what I'm looking for.
they were fucking yapping in this, bro.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of random nonsense, but then there's like a couple relevant things.
Just do Control F.
Dude, I'm on my fucking phone. Not in the VC, but like I'm looking at the shit on my phone. I'll just screenshot it.
In order to reliably defeat.
Yo, Z, delete that shit, bro.
Dude, where is this other part?
Yo, what the fuck is Bully trying to send, bro?
Maybe this is maybe it's in a different Q&A, bro.
No, it's fine. We could make it to where this doesn't eat time if you want to make it easier. Because someone likes here right now. Because I think all we're gonna do, I'll just give whatever I think against your scaling, and then like that'll be it, right? We can just conclude.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on what the response is. Fuck, I need to find this, dude. like missing the important part.
Wait, let me make sure I know when.
Holy shit. This is what I'm looking for.
Bro, yo, how fucking bad has my name got, bro? I didn't get a single fucking person in VC, bro. 19 people's crazy work, bro. This shit just had like 40.
That's what Crossverse will do, man. That's what Crossverse will
That's
do.
true. That is true. That is
Let
very
me,
true.
fuck, there's one that I'm missing, but I'll just send like the two of the more relevant ones, and then we'll just go from there. But yeah, man, he can have any power he wants, including ones that don't exist. And he has like a bunch of powers presently that are relatively useful.
Where is this state? All right. Can Reinhard make up blessings? Wait. Can Reinhard make up blessings himself, or is he given them from blessings that already exist? When Reinhard feels a blessing is needed, Old Laguna creates it and gives it to him. Sometimes there are errors in conveying his intention, and he doesn't get a proper blessing. It seems that Reinhard gets a blessing, any blessing he wants, but it's possible for him to gain a blessing that has never occurred. In other words, a new type of blessing. It is, since it's not Reinhard that chooses. Okay, so what are you trying to get from this?
It just gets given any power that would be relevant and helpful.
Okay, we do understand this to be like limited to his like comprehension.
Why? It's not him that
So
creates
so it's
or
based
comes up with powers.
yeah, so it's based on his desires. So how's he able to desire something he can't even comprehend?
No, it's stated it's not him that chooses, and the ones that he are like ones that he has no understanding of for the most part.
Sorry, what did you say? You like the second thing you just said?
What'd you say?
You said like the second thing you just said. What did you say?
Oh, I was saying it's again, it's not him that chooses. The blessings are just given to him in response to like some desire, whether it be to not die or whatever else.
Okay, so two things. So one is that it literally says there can be errors in what he says. So it could just be what he can convey. It's limited to, and secondly,
He
the
doesn't actually have
comprehension
to
of the person
convey
giving
it.
the blessings. So it literally says when Reinhard feels a blessing is needed, Old Laguna creates and gives it to him. Sometimes there are errors in conveying his intention. He doesn't give a proper blessing.
Yeah, the conveying of intention there is just like let's just say he doesn't want to die for whatever. He get a blessing that maybe is not like exactly what he's hoping for, but still helps.
Um. Okay, so how does he have every ability? What the fuck?
What do you mean? Any relevant ability that would help him, he can have. Seems pretty
Okay,
simple.
so I like there's multiple tensions to this. So, firstly, what can this guy comprehend? Like the guy giving him the shit.
Do you grant comprehension as a stat? I would say that it falls under a stat. It's like some subset of intelligence. So
Well, when I go into equal stats, I'm also thinking like in terms of scaling, like we're disregarding scaling. So if someone's not able to understand like complex concepts, I don't think that's like a regard to like some sort of scaling stat. I think that's more so like on
no,
what like
I think
ontology this
intelligence and
person
its
exists on.
subsets are going to be relative or relevant to how two characters match up in a fight. So I do think it's a stat. Like it just trivially is a stat.
Okay, that's just gonna be based on what we presuppose before going into this debate. Oh fuck. Does it? Okay, yeah. So I would just like I'll be charitable and not try to argue like there's no really like who's gonna be granted whatever intention they had before going to this debate. If you want to grant like comprehension being equal, then so you said that it's relative to what he desires, but what can be given can be misconveyed, correct?
Yeah.
As in, it may not be like exactly what he's looking for, but it is still both relevant and helpful.
Okay, so what's the what's the like limit to this then? So it would be like if someone's like, oh, I can give you something that's helpful to what you need, then it's like, well, if I'm not able to fully understand or at least convey what you wanted, then how do we understand how this is going to work against someone that like just well, let's say for the like because we're doing this based on like recorded judgment. How would we understand how this would work against someone that always wins?
How would we understand how this would work against somebody who always wins?
Yeah.
If he has a desire to win, I guess you just override it. But he also has like a very similar
Sorry,
narrative
what?
in which he just override it if he has a desire to win.
How? Okay, so
The
you
only
think
thing that is
that
both relevant and helpful would be something that either nullifies this guy's quote unquote guaranteed win or nets him a win regardless.
okay. We're using the no word, but what's it called? So multiple things wrong with that. I think that what he can understand of winning can be different to what was in the case of the fight. So it could be helpful to allow him to perform better, but it wouldn't allow him to win. And then
It's just
as
trivially
well,
distinct from what's meant by desire to win. It's not a desire for a stat increase or any of these random things. It's a desire to win. So what
yeah,
he
no,
granted,
yeah,
assumedly,
I
is
understand.
something relevant to winning. So to say that he'd get something irrelevant to
Yeah.
winning or that does not change his ability to win seems
Okay, but we
a
do
little.
understand that someone's ability to win is based on their capabilities, correct?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So if someone misconveys or doesn't understand what's needed in order to win, then they can give something that they believed was needed to win. So they can give some like shitty ass attribute that's not enough to beat someone that can always win or will always win. Sorry.
You do realize he can just keep getting the powers, right? Like, even like let's just presuppose that magically like there's some like something's misconveyed and he gets something non-useful. He can just keep doing it until eventually he does get something useful. So this would be like presupposing that like I guess like some comprehension issue causes the guy to never figure out what would be relevant to winning, or not even him, but the person who gives him the powers, which seems a little weird.
No, I don't think it's weird if the scan itself is saying that it's based on the person's intention. So if they just keep on giving these like shitty ass like stat boosts that they think is needed to win, then I don't think there's ever gonna be a point of time where they end up winning. Especially, hold on, I understand what your contention can be with that. Especially in the case we understand this person always wins, like this like necessary attribute of this character to always win, and then it's like this like omni hacks, right? I don't think someone that's able to
What does omni
misconvey their
hacks
ability.
mean there?
So like what I was trying to get was literally just that they always win like all possible worlds, right?
Oh yeah, if you
Yeah.
think that scaling went through, then like
Yeah.
sort of
Obviously,
see
yeah.
the issue.
Yeah. So
But
it's like how is someone that can't even like fully convey what they want, and it's gonna give like stat boost, and there's gonna be a point of time where they just can't ever get the needed stat boost, or not stat boost, sorry, but whatever the fuck they need in order to win.
so you're arguing that it's like some like eternal, like he never gets what he needs to win. Do you think it's like conceivable that there is some power that would allow him to win, or do you think it's like entirely inconceivable?
I think it's inconceivable, yeah, because that would be a
What do you think
contradiction
win
of
is
some
going to
of
be
those rights.
indexed to? I guess I'll get into
So
that. Like,
okay, yeah. So it's going to be relative to the objective given. So in this scenario, the objective given would be the win conditions that we give these characters. Do you go with SBA? Do you agree with that? Like
I have
it'd just be like
no
knocking out your
idea what
character.
SBS.
Okay, okay. Do you agree? They would just be like killing your character, or like knocking out your character for a day, or like BFRing them for like 2 weeks, something like that. Like that would be the objective be winning, and
I
what the
think
condition for winning
killing
would be
is
one of
fine.
those.
I like the other two are like a little more ambiguous to me, but like the killing one for sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
the guy just comes back to life if he gets killed like indefinitely. But I
Well, in the
actually
case of
I'm
someone always
very
winning.
unclear as to how the win conditions can even be met. It
Okay,
seems like a
yeah.
little weird,
So
but
yeah, anyway, so I also feel like if that character can just come back to life, I feel like that ability for them to come back to life would just be stripped of them if that's something that would go against TDK winning because he always wins.
so is that just the assumption that it would get stripped of him?
Yeah, and also
if you grant
okay.
that killing is
Okay.
typically some sort of condition in which we would count some sort of win, unless you think the narrative is going to be like indexed to like the objective of what's trying to be proven in the conversation, which seems really weird. But if it's just like some narrative objective where it's like kill the guy, then it seems relatively not
Sorry, wait,
meaningful.
what was that in response to?
It was talking about what you just said.
Yeah, I was saying that whatever ability your character has in order to not die would be removed, right? You said something about it being like some weird condition or
Someone
something.
sent me what I was looking for in the Q&A. That's very useful.
Okay.
What did you say? I was not paying attention.
Yeah, no. So I just said that my response to what you said was that if my character always wins, then your character's ability to not die will be stripped because that's something, and because we both agree that that's like a condition that makes sense to win.
Yeah, it just depends on if the
Correct,
win is going to be indexed to like what you're trying to prove in the conversation, as opposed to like some narrative idea of win.
So yeah, so if someone always wins, that the trait would just be relative to what the objective of winning is. So in all so it's like this is why it's like in all circumstances of an objective being given, he would win because that's what winning means.
Let me get this statement. I think Reinhard has like a very similar narrative as well, like in terms of the not winning thing. I'll send you what I'm talking about. Big scans,
Also,
man.
like the main thing that I disagree with here is that like it's like a cause and effect relationship here. Your character Reinhardt, he has to ask upon something and it'll be given. I feel like my character would just strip his ability. So if we were to say that your character is given an ability to beat my character's hacks would stop that ability for your character to be asking for that blessing in the first place.
But what if he just like it's just gonna get into these hypotheticals where it's like, oh, what if he just asks for the ability to not be stripped of any ability, or like desires the ability to not be stripped of any ability?
Yeah, but that's a cause and effect relationship though. So for him to ask for his ability to not be stripped, it would have to at first get that ability.
You'd
And
have
I'm
to
saying if that
presuppose
if
that the guy gets stripped before anything happens, which doesn't really follow under
well,
equal stats. This seems a little incoherent.
wait, no. So if my character has this ability with this attribute, so he always wins. If you believe that your character can be granted something for your character to win, then his ability to get that thing to win would then be stripped in order for my
I don't know why
character
you're
to
still
win.
trying to like engage with this. Like obviously, yes, if you won some point that says your character necessarily has to win every fight, then they presumably win some fight. I don't.
Okay. What else do I attention? I think this would be like outside help for your character there. Like
What do you
I'm
mean outside
fighting.
help?
So my character TDK is fighting your character Reinhardt, and then your character Reinhardt is being amplified by some external character that wasn't agreed upon in the topic.
It's just a part of the power system.
So what do you mean it's part of his power system, or part of the power system? Sorry.
The power system is just obtaining powers from this given character.
Sorry, my bad. I was reading some. Say it again.
The power system is just obtaining some like given ability from this character.
Yeah, no. So I don't think that's an attribute of your character. You're trying to prescribe it as if it's an attribute of your character. Like this is.
It's an attribute of his power system.
Yeah, no, I don't. I disagree with that. I think that because he gets like from this character, powers doesn't mean that that character itself that's giving him these powers is part
All
of his power
powers
system.
existed within the verse or derivative of this character. So it's just something
Sure.
true of the power system. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's on that character. That just means that they are dependent on a character that gives them. That's like
Well,
a
no, they're
bit of a
dependent on
genetic
the power
bias.
system. This is just the mechanism by which you access the power system. That's fine.
Yeah, no. The mechanism that they get that power system is someone external to themselves, right? So what I'm saying is kind of like a genetic fallacy for you to say that, oh, because this person gives them the power set means that this person will now be a part of their power set. I disagree with that.
What fallacy do you think it is? I did not catch that.
A genetic fallacy, like just because they give him his power set doesn't mean that they will be part of that power set.
Can you give me some sort of description of what that fallacy means? Like,
Okay, I got you.
I've never heard that in my life.
Damn.
Bro, he's in the ape argument. What the hell?
That's what happens when you're a little too.
Bro, this is the ape argument. Hermes, you're a troll.
Wait, what? Wait, what happened with Ave?
This nigga just said calling out fallacies is the A work. Okay.
Nah, deadass. What the fuck? Yo, Aries, bro.
My fault.
Bro said I'm using an egg argument because I'm using some publicly available fallacy, bro. Fucking dumbass.
Okay, buddy.
My bad. I mean to call you that.
No, you're good, little bro. You're good.
Mortified, bro. Capitalizing your fucking messages is not gonna make us read it, bro. Mad ass nigga.
Oh shit, my bad.
Wait, how does what you just sent map onto what we're talking about? What
So
the
what the
fuck?
fuck did I just send? Judge something as good or bad on the basis. Oh my god, yo, this is like a very specified version of it. Hold on.
I was about to say, man, it's definitely something.
No, I agree. Yeah, this ugly ass fucking photo. Hold on, let me send this, bro. Holy fuck. Hold on, my bad, bro. Yeah, but also like in like something applied to this fallacy, it's like excuse my
You
like
cannot wait.
reasoning to
I'm looking at a description of it right now. It's just a fallacy that occurs when an argument or idea is dismissed or accepted on the basis of its source or origin. That is absolutely zero relevance to what we're talking about.
Sorry, send what you just sent.
It's
Anyways,
just the AI overview.
I mean, like a fallacy is gonna be relative to what you if you agree if it's logically incoherent. I'll just explain why it's logically incoherent. So I don't think that the thing like the cause is identical to the effect. Like that's basically what I'm arguing. Or even adjacent. I don't think it's adjacent to the. It would necessarily
I
has
don't
to be
even think
adjacent to
that's
the
what
effect.
I don't even think that's what the fallacy is saying. You
Well, it's
cannot
just saying
judge a
that.
thing based on its origins.
Yeah.
This is
So
like a
yeah.
very ambiguous thing as to what we mean by judge. What is meant by judgment
Yeah.
here.
So what that normally means is like just because like an idea was given by Hitler doesn't now mean that like idea is now for some reason wrong because Hitler himself is like a bad person or something. It's like correlated to like poisoning the world just because like the person giving an argument is bad doesn't mean the argument
Oh
is now bad.
yeah, that's fine. Is
Yeah.
what
Yeah. So
corresponds to what I'm talking about?
basically all I'm saying is that you would have to prove that the cause is adjacent to the effect because what you're saying now is because someone gives this other person a power his power set that now he'll be part of his power set. I'm saying just because he gives him it doesn't mean he is now part of it.
Well, okay. So what do you think the power system is in the verse?
I don't know. I've never read it.
Okay, the power system in the verse is it just exactly as I described. I don't know where the
I mean,
like distinction is.
I
You want
mean,
me to
yeah.
repeat it?
So your power system is derived from a character. That's fine, but it doesn't now mean
No,
that character
the
is
power
part of the power
system
set.
is the character and just the character's
That's what's in
decisions.
question.
That's what
That's what's
the
in question. That
power
sounded different to
system
what you said
is.
previously.
You saying that's what's in question when I tell you what the power system isn't like? Do you want to be shown that or like I don't know if that was meant to be like a real response.
Yeah, I guess show it. Like
Sure.
that like they label this character's power set as the person that's giving them these like powers or attributes.
Wait, why is this relevant again? Is this just to talk about if you can get new powers?
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's like it's relevant because I think
Oh,
that
I
this
don't
is
even
like
think that
this is
matters if
also
your
helpful for your
scaling doesn't
character.
go through. So I don't like we have I guess
Okay.
15 minutes. I don't think we even need to waste time on it.
Okay. No. Oh, no. I think I know you just thought I was trying to argue. No. This was in relation to me saying it's outside help. That wasn't in relation to my character stopping your character's ability to getting power from someone else.
Oh, I know. I'm saying he doesn't need any new abilities if your character doesn't like if your scaling doesn't go through. He doesn't need anything at all.
Sure. I don't understand how that works.
Like
I mean, both my
external
characters don't
to
have any
you
abilities.
don't understand how that works. Assuming your
No,
scaling doesn't go
no.
through, your character has absolutely fuck all.
Yeah,
That's how
no,
it works.
sorry. That would also apply to you. So if your character doesn't have any external ability, oh no, sorry.
Oh, dude, do you
Any
want to just
internal
see like
ability
a
from an
list of shit
external
he already
source.
has? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. Yeah.
Let me send you the big list, man.
Um,
If I can get this in high quality. Or like readable quality at the very least.
what else am I thinking of? What was the other statement you sent?
Oh, it's about I think he has a similar.
Is it the same thing?
It's just it's stated that if you even like think of opposing him or him losing, then you're in error. which just trivially as errors defined means you're wrong.
Reinhard has a blessing of the blue sky, blessing of the tearful sky, and blessing of the night sky. But condition, I think he's strong when it's a night, no matter what the weather, and morning and moon. Oh, fuck. When it's raining or sunny. Having said
The
that, he's
question is
strongest
mostly
in the morning.
irrelevant.
Also, do the effects. Honestly, when you think opposing Reinhard, you've already fallen into error. Sorry, that seems like a very like a relative statement. So this is like pretty adjacent to how like if someone in a verse was to fight Batman, and they said, "Well, even thinking of fighting Batman makes you stupid." I don't think
This is just going to be indexed to the reader. It's not going to be indexed to some narrative, so it has no correspondence to characters in the verse. It's just talking about the readers imagining some hypothetical in which the guy loses or is not the strongest.
Let me see what the original person asked then.
The original person, the question's right there. It's just like a ramble fest about some
No, I was
abilities.
read it. It's raining, having said the strongest morning. Also, the effects of the blessing blue sky, tearful sky, and night sky overlap. They do. Your team may be strongest tonight. So, how does this like refer to what you just said?
How does this refer to? Is this just literally a conversation with the reader? I think it's
no.
More than
you said that the answer was in relation to anything that someone could imagine. How is that?
It's in relation to some hypothetical in which the guy loses or is not the strongest. Well, what he says is if you are thinking about this thing, then you've fallen into error.
Honestly, when you think of opposing Reinhard, you've already fallen into error. Yeah, no. So I think they could just be like relative to what that author thinks of generally when he thinks of like a powerful character, and then that would just again be drawn back to his like own verse. I guess we can use that.
No, it's not about what the author thinks. He's saying this from like a reader perspective. If you as a reader consider this thing, you've fallen into error.
Yeah, no. But he's saying so his statement that whatever you think of, it would be dumb in order to say that it would be this written character. That's based on what he could think of for you to be able to think of.
It's based on what he can think of for you to be able to think of anything. The guy cannot. Wait, the guy cannot conceive of characters.
It's not about can
lose.
It's not about can. It's not about can. It's in what's likely what he's saying when he makes this statement, right? So, or not saying, but what's intended when he makes his statement is that it's based on what he can normally think of a character, right? So same way is like
this idea of normally. Where did you get normally think of? It seems like a really random addition, but
yeah, no. So I'm prescribing what he would normally think of based on the induction I'm about to make. So I'll give like an example of what I think could be happening here, and it's like this fat ass retard named King Queen Lion. You know, like he thinks what's strong in terms of like power scaling is like being able to destroy stars and shit, right? So when he makes his character, he starts making this ability to where if he cuts your character, there's like black holes and shit, like very little minute shit compared to the overall arcing like abilities of the other characters, right? So when this guy makes his statement, it's going to be relative to what he normally thinks is powerful. So if you think, yeah, it's dumb to even think you can beat this character, that's going to be relative to what he thinks all the characters generally have that he prescribes as powerful.
I zoned out towards the end there. What did you just say? Like he could have.
So what did you know from?
I have no idea what you said. I zoned out towards the end there. You said something or other about it, the guy's like idea of power scaling could be like some dog shit.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone like that was to make a statement that this character would beat any other character, that's relative to what he thinks is like able to defeat a lot of other people, or like everyone else, at least in this example, would be shown as.
Yeah, that'd be presupposing something that you can't prove. The verse is like relatively strong.
What will be presupposing?
What would be presupposed here is that his like idea of what makes a strong character is something that's pretty ass, which very very unprovable. But
no, okay. Yeah. So the induction.
Wait, no. Just generally, do you think induction is likelihood increasing at all?
Yeah.
Why?
So we see this like just happen in reality compared to what the inductions are made. We see this happen most of the time. So it's like if someone's to make the induction that the sky.
Can you prove that most of the time thing? How would you ever?
Yeah. So yeah. So like if someone sees the sun come up and then for like a week straight, and then they made the induction that it's gonna come up another week, then that ends up actually happening. That just proves that inductions are a reliable way to draw probability from.
Wait, no. One instance in which something follows from an induction does not actually mean that induction is reliable. That seems to be confused. It's taking some specific observation and reaching a general conclusion. That's what induction seeks to do. I don't know how you bridge the gap between some specific observation and general conclusion. You also made the claim that most inductions are reliable. I don't. Do you want me to
just continuously give more inductions? No. So you said you could never bridge the gap between making an induction and making a general statement. I'm saying that the way we prescribe general statements is if a large set of something to be true, we then say that the rest of that thing is likely to be true, and we then see in reality this occur. Yeah, no. I'm just repeating what was being stated. So then that goes into my argument that it was based on the induction would be that the sun comes up every 12 p.m. right, and then they make this induction, and then reality ends up conforming to that induction. That just shows that their ability to infer that thing to be true.
Why does that show that it's likelihood increasing as opposed to it just being an observation?
Because no. So it's just not a regular observation. It's an observation about a set of things to then infer what the rest of those things would be.
Yeah, it's a bunch of small instances of observation and then jumping to some general conclusion.
No, I think the thing about hasty generalization. I think the thing about hasty generalization, that's more so when no, hold on. That's more so when the set of observations are too small to infer a large or a general general statement or something.
What set of observations is sufficient to draw some general conclusion?
It's gonna be relative to what that thing is.
Why? Can you give me an example of some sufficient set without begging the question?
Yeah. So it would be like if I saw a set of ducks, right? And then I looked at 3 ducks, and then I said, well, 3 of these ducks have this little dot on them somewhere. So then I'm gonna infer that the other 97 have this thing.
There's no causal relation though between the ducks you're seeing.
It's not a causal inference. It's not that.
Okay, then where's the likelihood increaser? What about you seeing 3 ducks that are, let's just say, yellow?
Sorry. I was literally going to say this is a hasty generalization. So I was saying that in this circumstance, when they see only 3, then it wouldn't be enough to infer what the rest could have, because we understand that the ducks have too many variables and ways that can make that dot occur without the rest occurring at the same time too, right? So when I say this when we get in another scenario where we check 77 ducks and then said that the other 23 likely had the same thing, we're now saying that even regarding these genetic variations, we see that the variation keeps occurring in a specific way. So I'm going to say generally that the variation is going to occur for the rest.
All you did is gave me another inductive case. You didn't give me any reason as to why we'd accept it. There's a lack of causal relation there, which means I don't think there's any probability increase.
So I'll just give some clarity here. That's literally just to show that when we make inductions, they end up it will end up showing that the reality
sometimes they end up
conforming to induction is. It's not sometimes. I think our ability to understand if they end up coming correct is going to be relative to what was that induction given, and then what the result of that inference would be.
You guys have 2 minutes left.
So, is the argument just that sometimes we make inductions and the inductions are right? So when the induction is right, we know that inductions are reliable. Is there something I'm missing?
Yeah, as a general thing, yeah. So basically, it's just showing that most of the time, inductions reality conforms to inductions that we make.
Why is it most of the time? You giving some random example does not justify most of the time. That's
how many more examples you going to give before we see that? It's more intuitive to a lot of people.
How many possible cases of pattern recognition do you think there are? You're never going to be able to justify most of the time. That's a very silly claim.
Yeah, no, I think
you do understand that even people specialize in this sort of thing grant that induction may not be likelihood increasing for the exact same reasons. People more study than you or me seem to think that there's not a sufficient reason to believe this thing. So you saying,
why do they think that? Wait, why do they think that? I think it's just appeal to authority. Why do they think that? Okay, so if it's based on what you said, I don't really think they get you any probability if it's based on what you just said.
People with access to a far larger set of inductions don't think it's most. I don't know why you think it's most.
Who?
I'm saying it's just a very confused
statement. Wait, like who?
Do you want me to just name people who've talked about the problem of induction, or do you want to engage with the substance? Which one?
Well, that is part of the substance. I don't know. He said that. Yeah, it would have to be. You'd have to be. Yeah, you have to show those people.
Hold
on.
I would have to
Hold
show
on.
those. I would have to show those. You still haven't filled your burden. I'm really
Wait.
not hard pressed to show anything. Like,
Okay.
you still haven't filled your burden. It's fine.
I would explain what that wouldn't mean anything, but yeah. So I'll just relate it back to this. I'm using the induction that everything that he's written is on a specific power level, so I'm gonna think likely that that's what he prescribes as strong, especially when he makes these characters to be on a strong level relative to that verse is. So like the same way when someone makes the presence, that the guy's meant to make the strongest of the verse. That's what that that author thinks of as powerful, right? So I'm making an induction based on that. So I think it's likely what he thinks is powerful is gonna be relative to what that verse has.
Okay. Well, I already went over the issues with induction, and for one, you have no idea what the verse has. So that's kind of like a nothing response.
I mean, yeah, that's why I want you to show me what the verse has. That's why I'm just drawing it back to being that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really left to talk about. Is some inductive case about like following off of the assumption that it's like an authorial perspective, which is weird. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good time. We finished around exact end. All right.